Alright, you guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'd like to start off by saying Shabbat Shalom. All praises to the Most High, Higher. Tonight's lesson will be called Unity. We're going to some precepts on unity and coming together as a people. We are in the last days, and Satan, from here on out, Satan's going to do whatever he can to cause division among the people, and on every level. So if it's division among the women, if it's division among the men, if it's division among the household with the mom and the kids, or the dad and the kids, or if it's even division among the husband and the wife, Satan is going to come in now, and he's going to try and create division no matter what. The moment he sees something good going in the way of the Most High, Ahaya, Satan is coming to create that division. And we all have to be aware of what Satan is doing and how he's doing it. Alright, he's going to come in and bring that division of evilness, evil heart. He's going to come in and bring that division of jealousy. He's going to come in and bring that division of selfishness. He's going to bring that division in many different fashions, to where now you and your loved ones, or you and your household, or someone is now into it because of the division that Satan has created amongst the people. So we have to be real careful. So that's why tonight's lesson will be called Unity. So when you realize that you have a problem going on in your household, whether it's behind jealousy, whether it's behind selfishness, whether it's behind an evil heart, then you can kind of get away from it and realize that, hey, this is just Satan trying to cause some type of division amongst me and whoever the other person is, or the other people are involved. It could be a group thing, it could be an individual thing, it could be a family thing. So we're going to touch some precepts on it tonight. This Thursday we will get back into our board meetings. We haven't had a board meeting in about a month. I know I've gotten really busy myself, but this Thursday we will get back into our board meetings, and that way we can get back on point. The second week of June is coming really quick, and that's when we're planning on going out on our camping trip. So we have to get back on that and make sure everybody is on point with everything that they need, and on point with everything that we say we're going to do. Alright, so this Thursday we'll get back on our board meetings, which will be starting at around 7:15, 7:20. I'll send out the text to let everybody know. We could probably even go at 7 o'clock, you guys. If we go at 7 o'clock, then I can do the meeting. If it's after 7:30, then I can't. So on Thursday at 7 o'clock, we can do the board meeting. Be about 20 minutes like always. And it should be done before 7:30, and we'll get back on that. That way we can be on point when it comes to the camping trip. Alright, also May 15th, which is a Sabbath, Brother Bruns will be here in Arizona. Okay, me and Brother Bruns, we confirmed last night that he will be coming here to Arizona on May 15th on the Sabbath. We're going to do like a mini lesson for about 45 minutes. And then Brother Bruns is going to perform some songs for us. He's going to give us like a little show, a little concert. So we have a month to promote it on our end here in Arizona. We will have some flyers made by Sunday to have on Facebook so we can promote it. So right now we're looking for a building here in Arizona that will allow us to do such a thing. So if anybody has anything in mind, like building wise, to where they know of something we can rent out, just kind of let me know here over the next couple of days. We're going to need everybody's helping hand to help bring him and his crew here. We're going to have to raise a little money. That way we can help put these guys in a hotel, because it's going to be him and other people. We're going to have to, give the brother a little something for coming and performing for us. So, I mean, anybody that wants to help out with that, let me know. But it is going to cost us some money to help bring him and his crew down here and put them in hotels and even just help them get down here. Whether we rent a rental car or two to help him and his boys drive down here. But me and him confirmed last night on the phone that May 15th, Brother Bruns will be coming to Arizona to give us a mini concert after the Sabbath, to just come and bring a spirit in to help other people that we talk to all the time and tell them what we do. They can see it through our music now. So he asked me to do something. I told him it was going to be pretty tough, but he was like, brother, y'all come up with a list of y'all favorite songs. That way I can kind of have a ideal of what songs to perform. I said, now brother, you're jamming me in the spot, because that's kind of hard to come up with some favorites. But I figured what we can do is by tonight at the end of the lesson, if everybody can give me like they 2 to 3 favorite songs, Brother Bruns, I'll write them all down, and then I'll narrow them down and send them to him by Monday. And he said he'll start working on those songs for us so he can bring a nice show here for us. All right. So with that in mind, all praises to the Most High, that the Spirit is working in that way to even get that brother down here to do that for us. I think it's going to be a good thing. Now you can bring friends and families that haven't heard that type of music and don't know the ideal of what it does for the soul. So with that in mind, let's get to the lesson. Tonight's lesson will be called Unity. We're going to start off in Romans 15 and 30. Okay. Romans 15 and 30 is where we're going to start. Okay. And it reads, now I beseech you, brethren, for the Most High Yeshua Christ's sake, and for the love of the Spirit, that ye strive together with me in your prayers to the Most High for me. So it tells you right here that we must strive together. All right. And for the love of the Spirit, we must strive together in our prayers for the Most High. So when we do things, you guys, we must strive together as a group, as unity through a people. All right, to where we can be on one accord on many levels. So many times people try to do things on their own and they fail. Yeah, you might be able to do something on your own for a while and it might get you through for a few days, or it might get you through for a week or so, but after a while you're going to realize like, hey, I'm struggling here. Why are you struggling all of a sudden? Because you've been trying to do it on your own. So when you have a group of people, you have to use them. You have to come together with them. You have to get on one accord. That way we all can help each other out when we're down and out. Okay, and that's why it's so important. So important to use your brothers. So important to use your sisters. Nobody, once you find this word, nobody's He-Man, nobody's Superman, nobody's She-Ra. Okay, we all need help in time. We get weak in the flesh. Nobody's perfect in the spirit. We're all trying to convert to the spirit 100%, but no one's perfect. So when that moment comes where you're in the flesh and you get a little weak, don't be scared to reach out to your loved ones in this word. Because your loved ones, now that you used to think that were your loved ones in the flesh, are no longer your loved ones. Everybody you grew up with, friends, cousins, mom, dad, sisters, brothers, once you wake up to this truth, they're no longer your loved ones, because now they're looking at you as if you're crazy. So how can they support you when you're going through something now that you're in the truth and they look at you as if you're in a cult. So now you have to be able to turn to the same people that are like-minded like you and take your problems to them. That way they can see where you're coming from, because we're all, even though we all have different offices in this body, we're all under one spirit. And that's what we all have to understand. We're all under one spirit, so therefore we are to help each other. That's why tonight's lesson is called Unity. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11. So that's why we're going to hit these precepts to help one another tonight. We're going to help one another on how to become closer, and we're going to help one another on how to be able to come to each other and relate our problems when we're going through things. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 11 reads, "Wherefore, comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do." All right, let's break down the word edify. Edify in the Webster means to build. All right, edify means to build. So wherefore comfort yourselves together and build one another, even as also ye do. So you build yourself up. You do different things for yourself to make yourself good. But right here, this precept says do it for one another. You do it for somebody else. So the same that you would do for yourself, you do it for somebody else. If you take a lot of time and put time into yourself, take some time and put it into your sister. Take some time and put it into your brother. We have to build one another up instead of tearing each other down in different ways to where we're looking for problems, we're looking for reasons to bring each other down. Let's find a way to pick each other up. That's not why we're in this word. We're not in this word to outdo each other. We're not in this word to pick on one another and to make the other person feel bad. No, we're in this word to build each other up. Verse 12. "And we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you and are over you in the Most High, and admonish you, and to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake, and be at peace among yourselves." So we must be at peace. And once we come at peace among ourselves, you have to come at peace among yourselves first. And then once you do that, now you can reach out to other people and help other people. Now you can help build other individuals up when you're at peace among yourself. You have to find peace within yourself first. That way you can get rid of the evil heart. That way you can pick up the scriptures and be able to let the Spirit move through you. Now you can go build up your brother. Now you can go build up your sister. Psalms 133 and 1. Listen, I know this is not an easy task. All right. Because so many people still live in the flesh. But once you get out of the flesh, then you will be able to bring peace among yourself and get rid of the evil heart. But as long as you live in the flesh, evil will creep in. As long as you live in the flesh, you're always going to experience depression. You're always going to experience hard times. But if you convert yourself to the Spirit, then it makes it a little easier among yourself to bring peace. Psalms 133 and 1 reads, "A song of degrees of David. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." So it says, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. So it said it's very pleasant for us to dwell together in unity. Let's break down the word unity. Unity is H3162. Unity is H3162. And it's Yakat. And it's YACHAD. Yakat. And it means a unit. A unit, unitedly, alike, at all, once, both, likewise, together. All right, and it comes from H3162 comes from H3161, which means to become, to be, or become one. Join. So that's what unity means. Unity means basically in overall to become one. Join. So when we all come together as a congregation, there's many of us. But in unity, we all become one because we're all under one spirit. So there's no such thing as individualism when you are part of a group. All right. When you are part of a group, there's no one big man. All right. And when you are part of a group, there's no one little man. So there's no reason why one person should be picking on another person. Or there's no reason why the other person should be trying to judge another person. We're all one. So if you're judging somebody amongst your group, that means you're judging yourself. Because we're all one. That's what unity means. To be or become one. Join. Let's go to Ephesians 4:1. So unity means to become one. That means, like I said earlier, just because we all are individuals and we all have our own office, overall we're all one spirit. So how can you crash the spirit? If we're all one spirit and then you tearing one person down that's in the group, judging them, talking bad about them, now you're tearing the spirit down. We have to work hard on a hourly basis, a daily basis, a weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis to make this spirit as strong as possible. Because we're in the last days and Satan, he's picking up steam also. You think just because we're all waking up and we're coming together and we're picking up steam. No, Satan is picking up steam also. And the reason is because the more of us that wake up, the more people Satan brings down and get back on his team. So he's picking up steam also. He's recruiting. Just because Satan see us picking up steam and we all learning and finding our heritage, you think he's just going to lay down? No, he's recruiting big time now. All right. Ephesians 4:1, and it reads, I therefore, the prisoner of the Most High, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in the hope of your calling. So anybody that's called, all right, we're all called to do something, man and woman. We're all put on this earth to do something. That's our hope of calling. You're all put here to do the works in some type of way. Yeah, women, you're not to get up and preach and teach, but you're here to do your part. All right. And while you're here to do your part, there is one body and there is one spirit. Yeah, there's many of us, but we are all one body and one spirit. Verse 3 says to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. So like I said, if we're all in one body and one spirit, how is one individual bringing another individual down? When you do that, you're bringing the spirit of the bond down, the peace. The peace is now leaving. We got to build it up and keep it in unity. And it starts off by loving one another. That's what verse 2 says. All right, let's go to Acts 4:32. So we have to understand how important it is not to have no strife or quarrel against your brother or your sister. Okay? That's a sin. The Most High do not like seeing that you have a problem with your brother or your sister and then you don't take it to them. Because if you have a problem amongst somebody in your group, or you probably have a problem is with somebody in your household, and if you don't take it to them and squash it out, the problem is only going to grow. All right? Negative seeds grow just like a positive seed. And before you know it, it's going to be out of control. It's going to be like weeds all over a backyard. You don't want that in your life. Acts 4:32. And it reads, and the multitude of them that believed were of one heart and of one soul. Neither said any of them that aught of the things which he possessed was his own, but they had all things in common. So we must, as a group, have things in common. What's the one thing that we all should have in common? Salvation. We come together as a group of 20, 25 people, 30, 40 people, 50, no matter how many of us it is, the one common goal should be salvation. Now, if only a few people in the group have that goal of salvation and that's what they believe in and that's what's important, and then the other half of the group don't really care about salvation, then that's where all the strife is going to come in. That's where all the backstabbing is going to come in. That's when all the evil things are going to come in, because everybody's not under the same common goal. Let me read 32 again of Acts 4. Chapter 4. Acts verse 32. Chapter 4. And it reads, and the multitude of them that believed were of one heart and of one soul. So the multitude of them that believe in his word, we are one heart and we are one soul. And we all have the same thing in common, which is being saved. Let's go to Romans 12 and 16. So we have to get on the same level. And if you have somebody in your group that's always talking about something outside of salvation, then you need to report that person. Go tell the elder, hey, you know what? I was talking to brother such and such, and he always be talking about things outside of salvation. That way we could probably try to sit that brother down and say, hey, this ain't what we're about, but this is what we're about. Same thing with the sisters. We all have to get on the same common goal if it's going to work. If you're going to have unity amongst yourselves, one man is not bigger than the next man. When we all come into the same room, we're all humble and meek in the same manner. When we all come in one room, nobody has a higher ranking than the next person. See, that's what happens when you have all these different rankings and people get all these different positions, and then people think, well, I'm bigger than that person, so I can act this way. No, that ain't how we're to be. We already got our rankings, and it's Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya, Yeshaya, through the spirit of Rawak, and then us. That's our rankings. We don't have to worry about no other rankings. Romans 12 and 16. And it reads, be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things. Be consented to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. So it tells us to be mind one towards another. Alright? We have to be the same way towards each other. Mind not high things. Don't worry about high things. We don't worry about high powers. We don't worry about all these other things. We don't care about high rankings. Alright? It says be men of low estate. So that means you have to be meek. Men of poor estate. You have to come in with a humble spirit. And with that humble spirit, now we can treat each other the same way. Okay? Philippians 3 and 13. So we got to be real careful with the high power. You got to be real careful with, well, I want to be this rank, or I want to be like this. I know so many brothers that I talk to that's in the truth, they can care less if they're an elder or not. They're like, man, I don't even want that position. That's a lot of work. I would rather just be normal and do my thing to where, hey, I don't got to worry about a lot of things. And that's the way we all really should be, you guys, because it's not all about a position. It's not all about who's doing what or who's better than the next man. Study to show yourself approved. You do that on a daily basis, and as long as you do that, now you seek the Most High in a way to where He will approve your rankings. He will approve who you are. All right? Philippians 3 and 13. And it reads, brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before. So if something happens with you or somebody else, it says forget those things which is behind. That's in the past. Get rid of that. All right? Don't hold on to something that happened. If you hold on to something that happened between you and somebody, then it's just going to hinder your mind. It's going to hinder your spirit. It tells you right here that if something happens, forget about it. Leave it behind and start thinking about what's ahead of you. Let me read it again. Brother, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do. This one thing I will do, forgetting those things which are behind. So those things are in the past. Don't bring them back up. Once it happens, let it go. Let's move on. And reaching forth unto those things which are before. Verse 14. Philippians chapter 3 verse 14. And it reads, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of Ahiah in Yeshaya. Let us therefore, as many as be perfect, be thus minded. And if anything ye be otherwise minded, Ahiah shall reveal even this unto you. Nevertheless, whereto we have already attained, let us walk by the same rule. Let us mind the same thing. Brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk, so as ye have us for an example. So it tells us right here to you be followers together. We all follow on the same path. And let us mind the same thing. So we got to be on the same level. All right. In unity, as a group of people, we, like we read earlier, we all have to have the same common goal. All right. But in order for us to be perfect, verse 15 said, let us therefore, as many as be perfect. So you can be perfect. How can you be perfect? Be thus minded. And if in anything ye be otherwise minded, Ahiah shall reveal even this unto you. So as long as we walk in the Spirit, Ahiah is going to show you how to come together as one. As long as we believe in each other, we trust in each other, all right, we leave things in the past, we move on, we will learn how to attain the same rule and walk under the same Spirit amongst each other. Let's go to Romans 15:1. But if you don't follow after Ahiah and the spirit of Ruach, how are you going to be able to attain that same calling of the man next to you? You won't. You won't be able to. See, we all have different callings, but at the end of the day, we're all in the same spirit, which when we all come together, we're all doing the same thing, which is salvation. All right? But you have to be under the same rule, and you have to be under the same mind to get to that common goal. And we're all examples, whether you believe it or not. All right. If we all follow after Yeshaya through Yeshaya for the Messiah, through Ahiah, now we all are under the same mind, and we're all examples, one to another, and not only one to another, but to people that look up to you. That's the common goal. You have to learn how to be an example. So if you're down and out, you got people watching you. If you got an evil heart, you got people watching you. We are all now examples once you turn to this word. Romans 15:1. And it reads, when then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak, and not to please ourselves. Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification. So it tells you right here that we are not to please ourselves. We are to look at the next man or the next woman and help bring them up. That's our job. It ain't about pleasing ourselves and then leaving the next person out. You take care of the next man first or the next woman first, and then once you see they're taken care of, then you please yourself. A selfish man is not going to make it to the kingdom. A man that always wakes up every morning to please himself, take care of himself, and then you have somebody else that's out wanting. That's one thing we have to change. We have to start looking into this to change. Hey, all right, you know what? Today I'm going to start the day off by taking care of somebody else first. Hey, you know what? Today I'm going to buy somebody else's lunch. All right? I'm going to go somewhere and I'm going to buy somebody else's lunch. Please them, and then I'll buy mine. And just see the hope and the joy that you put on that individual's face. Ahia will love it. He will be smiling at you saying, well done. All right, verse 3. Romans chapter 15, verse 3. For even Messiah pleased not himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproach thee fell on me. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So that's where our comfort comes from. All right? If something's going on or something's going wrong, you go pick up the scriptures. All right? And that's where your comfort comes from. But in order to receive comfort from the scriptures, you have to have patience. You can't go to the scriptures and pick them up and be all flustered and be all agitated. Then you're not going to get no comfort. But if you go to the scriptures and you got some patience, you done humbled yourself out. Now, once you start reading the scriptures and you let the Spirit work, now the comfort is going to come and ease your mind. Verse 5. Now the Most High of patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded one toward another according to Messiah Yeshua, that ye may with one mind and one mouth glorify Ahia, even the Father of our power, Yeshua the Messiah. Wherefore, receive ye one another, as Yeshua also received us to the glory of Ahia. So we have to receive one another. We have to receive each other. You know, you might not like something about somebody in the group, but you have to receive them. Why? Because we're all one spirit. All right? It ain't telling you to go every time you see somebody, go grab them and hug them and give them a big old hug and say, hey, I miss you. No, you still have to receive each other. All right? We have to be one-minded. And one mouth that glorifies Ahia. So we're all speaking from the same mouth. Why? Because we're all speaking from the same body. So when you realize that we're all speaking from the same body, now we're all speaking from the same mouth. So like I said earlier, if we're all in the same body, in the same spirit, and you start speaking bad about somebody, now you're speaking bad about yourself. 1 Corinthians 1 and 10. So with this word unity, it means to come together. We bring everything together and we become as one. That's our job in this body. We all become one. That way salvation is now clear to not just one person. Salvation is not clear just to 1, 2, 3, 4 people. No, salvation is clear to everybody that's associated with this group. And that's my coming goal. Like I tell you guys all the time, I done told you many a times that, hey, listen, I don't care if you don't like me in the flesh. You can say, man, I don't like Ed. But hey, as long as I'm feeding that spirit and your spirit is growing, that's all I care for. So if I had to choose, hey, you hate me in the flesh, you don't like who I am, hey, I'll take that all day. But as long as I'm feeding your spirit and your spirit is growing, and at the end of the day, the light is on for salvation because it makes sense and you see it, that's my goal. That's my job. My job is not to come in here and please you in the flesh. So if you're looking for somebody to please you in the flesh, this is the wrong guy right here. Elder Odd is the wrong guy to look for if you want some pleasing of the flesh. Now, if you want some comforting of the spirit, you're at the right place. Because I'm going to tell you what the spirit needs, not what the spirit wants to hear. That's the difference around this camp. I'm going to tell you what your spirit needs, not what it needs to hear. And so many people have been trained and taught in this world to seek after things that they want to hear. And that's where a lot of people fail. 1 Corinthians 1 and 10. And it reads, now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our power, Yeshua the Messiah, that ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. So we all have to be in the same mind, perfectly joined together. It didn't say all right, come together somewhat. No, perfectly joined together. How can we be perfectly joined together? By being under the same mind and having no divisions among us. We can't have no division. So if we got a group of 50 people, then 10 people can't be on the same side, and then the other 40 doing one thing. Like, we all go out, and then you got a group of people that's always grouping up. No, there's no divisions among you. We have to be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. Same judgment means that way if we're all together, when judgment day comes, we'll all be judged in the same fashion. If we're one group and we're doing everything together, that means we're all confident that we're going to make it to the right. We can't wait for judgment day because we know salvation is coming because we done everything together as a group. You shouldn't have a group of people that fellowship a few times a week, and it's a group of 50 people. I just use the number 50, you guys. There's nothing to that. I'm just using the number 50. But if you have a group of 50 that comes together a few times a week, and then only 15 of those people know they're going to, not know they're going to be saved, but only 15 of those people believe that they're going to be saved, and then the other 35 kind of really don't know, then that's not good. Then that means that group is not doing their job. See, as a group, it's not just up to one person, which is the elder, to make sure everybody is doing right. No. That's why we're going over these precepts tonight. We're all to hold each other accountable. We're all to look after each other to make sure the next one is doing good. We got to pick each other up. Can't just be one person trying to pick up 49 people. Everybody have to be doing the picking up to make sure this body that we're creating here is on the right path. So when you see your brother, you see your sister down, pick them up. You see them a little down and out, go flick the light on, get them out of the darkness. We need help. Everybody needs to help. Everybody needs to participate. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 11 and 16. So it says we have to be perfectly joined together in the same mind, okay, according to the same judgment. This is how we have to be, you guys. There's no division among us. The word division just equals evil. That's it. Anybody that comes in and try to create some division among the people, all it's going to do is equal evil. You got to be careful. 1 Corinthians 11 and 16. But if any man seem to be contentious, we have no such custom, neither the churches of Achaia. Now in this that I declare unto you, I praise you not, that ye come together not for the better, but for the worse. For first of all, when ye come together in the church, I hear that there be divisions among you, and I partly believe it. So it says we're not to have divisions. All right. But it says this is not the custom of us. This is not the custom of us to be contentious among each other. Having problems. Always finding a problem to have with the next person. This is not the custom of the church. This is not why the church was put together. The church was put together to be for unity. The church was put together to be under one mind, one spirit. Not to be contentious. Not to always find a reason not to like sister such and such. Not to always find a reason to bring down brother such and such. Alright? It's all about coming together. Go back to 1 Corinthians 1 and 11. So this is what we have to work on. Alright? And we gotta stay strong in it. We gotta work hard on it. This is what you should be doing every day. People got so much stuff that they do on a daily basis that they work on. And there is only a certain things that you should be working on. And this is one of them. This is one of the things that you should be working hard on. Okay? Which is trying to figure out how to bring unity amongst the people that you fellowship with. 1 Corinthians 1 and 11. For it had been declared unto me of you, my brethren, by them which are of the house of Cholo, that there are contentions among you. Let's break down the word contentions. Contentions is G2054. G2054. and it's Eris, Eris, E-R-I-S, Eris, Eris, and it means quarrel. That is wrangling, debate, strife, variance. So the word contentions means quarrel, wrangling. Those two can mean any type of fighting, debate, arguing, strife, variance. Let's break down the word variance, the Webster definition for variance. Variance means difference that produced dispute or controversy, disagreement. That's what the word variance means. Variance means difference. All right, so when somebody has a difference with someone, it produces dispute or controversy, disagreement. So this is all under the word contentions. All right, and he says there should be no contentions among you. There should be no difference. There should be no disputes, no controversy, no disagreement. Why? Because we're all under the same spirit. So if you have a dispute with somebody in your group, you need to go hash it out and make sure y'all get on the same level. You have a disagreement with somebody in your group, y'all need to go hash it out and get all under one level. There can't be many levels when you're a part of a group. Okay? You can't be a part of a group and then there be this level, and then that level. Okay, well, I'm on this level and they're on that level. No, we're all under one level. And that's why once you do finally become part of a group, it's almost then as you have to make a choice. And the reason why I say you have to make a choice, because there are many groups out there. There are many groups out there. You can go jump on YouTube right now and find many Hebrew groups. There are so many different groups now. But if you're part of 3-4 groups, it's going to produce some type of controversy. Why? Because everybody teaches a little different. Everybody teaches in their own way. Not everybody cares about salvation. Yeah, they wake up and say, hey, I found the truth. I know the truth now. But do they preach salvation on a daily basis? Because listen, that's all that matters. If somebody's not talking about salvation all the time, then you might want to move away from that person, because salvation is what matters. And so every time we come together as a group, we should be trying to figure out what we have done better to get closer to salvation. It's not about who knows more. It's not about, oh, that person taught that wrong, or that person did that lesson wrong, or he don't know the real information on that. No, it ain't about competition. It's about salvation. And sooner or later, all these groups, according to the word, will be coming together as one. Sooner or later, somebody's going to have to bite the bullet on something that they're teaching. Right now, everybody's teaching what they want. But sooner or later, all these groups are going to have to come together as one. When we hit the wilderness all together, when that big boom happens in America and we hit the wilderness, say next week, all these different groups ain't going to be in their own section under trees. All right, well, this group is, we teach this. And then this group, well, we over here because we teach this. No, once we hit the wilderness, it's all one spirit. And we all going to be under one common goal, which is salvation and getting away from Satan. And that's what we all should be teaching already. It ain't about, oh, well, I did more research, so I know this, so my group is better than that group. That ain't unity to me. That's creating division. The moment you start putting another brother down or another group down, that's creating division. 1 Corinthians 6 and 7. Like I told you guys earlier, I'm not in this to earn brownie points. I'm not in this to collect money off of it. I'm in this to speak the real truth. And it's all just coming from the Bible. That's it. None of it's my words. None of it's my feelings. So don't no one get offended when they hear me talking the way I talk. Don't get offended now. It's just the precepts. Okay? 1 Corinthians 6 and 7. Now therefore, there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law with one another. So it starts off and say, hey, there's a fault among you people. What's the fault? You go to law with one another. Why do ye not rather take wrong? Question mark. Why don't you take wrong? Why do you rather go law to one another versus taking wrong yourself? Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? So why don't you just take it? Why do you got to find a reason that it was somebody else's problem or it was somebody else's fault that you feel the way you feel? Instead of saying, if something's wrong with you, instead of you stopping and saying, nah, you know what? I'm tripping. I'm not even going to take that to the brother. You know what? I'm looking into something too deep. You know what? I'm tripping. I'm going to take the fault on this. Let's break down the word defrauded. But that's our problem as a people. We see something real small or something real petty, and we can't wait to go talk to the sister and tell her that she did wrong. Or we something so small and petty, we can't wait to judge the next person. That's not what we're in this. This is not what we're in this for. The fraud. All right, defrauded is G650, and it's Oterio. Osterio, and it's APO STEREO, and it means to deprive. Osterio means to deprive, which is defrauded. So let's read that again and put deprive. 1 Corinthians 6 and 7 says, now therefore, there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law one with another. Why do ye not rather take wrong? Why don't you take wrong for it? Blame yourself. Stop blaming somebody else. Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be deprived? Deprived means, why are you always looking for the reward? Why you want to make yourself out to be the good guy? Deprive yourself this time and say, no, I'm doing wrong. That's what deprive means. Deprive yourself of the situation. All right, because sometimes when something's wrong with you and you want to go blame it on somebody else, you might want to stop and look in the mirror and say, no, you know what? It's me today. I'm tripping. I'm going to leave that alone. And not only am I going to leave it alone, but I'm going to put it in the past. And I'm going to move on and I'm going to look at everything that's now in the future. Let's go to Proverbs 20 and 3. That's one of our main problems too, as a people, that we don't know how to take fault. We don't know how to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, you know what, I was wrong today. I shouldn't have did that to such and such. You know, I was wrong for talking bad about that person. I was wrong for saying that to the sister. Forgive me, Ahaya. Forgive me for being like that. That's what we need to be doing. We need to learn how to take fault among ourselves and then ask for forgiveness. Listen, even if you didn't do wrong, even if your brother brings something to you or your sister brings something to you and say, hey, I'm a little disappointed in you, and you know you didn't do wrong, but if they bring something to you, say, well, hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that offends you, and I'm sorry that made you feel that way. My fault. Is there anything I can do to change it? Even though deep down in your heart, you know you really didn't do nothing wrong, but now you have an upset brother or now you have an upset sister, so now you say, hey, I'm sorry. Knowing you didn't do nothing wrong, but you're still apologizing and asking, what can you do to fix the situation? That's how we got to be as a people. You can't get butthurt because something was brought to you or somebody say, hey, I have a problem with you, and then you get butthurt and you get all offended. Now the conversation don't even go right. And when you have a problem or a situation with somebody, you're to stick to the precepts. You go to the precepts and say, okay, well, let's follow what the precepts say on this subject. Get away from your own feeling and your own heart, because once you go into that realm, then that's when it gets all out of control. Proverbs 20:3. And it reads, "It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling." So it is an honor when a man ceases from strife. So if you have strife with somebody or something or a situation, and you want to go take it to this person so bad, it is an honor that a man ceases. He stops himself from that strife. He stops himself from even bringing that up. I'm going to cease from that strife today. I'm not even going to get deep into that. But every fool will be meddling. All right, let's break down the word meddling. H 1566. H 1566. And it's Gala. Gala. G-A-L-A-A-H. Gala. And it's obstinate. To be obstinate. Alright. Let's give the Webster on the word obstinate. Obstinate means stubborn, inflexible, fixed in opinion. Let me say that again. Obstinate means stubborn, inflexible, fixed in opinion. So somebody that already has their mind made up. You can't change their mind no matter what. Even if you sit down and talk to this person, their mind is already made up on how they feel about the situation. Fixed in opinion. Not to be moved or persuaded by reason. Obstinate means stubborn, inflexible, fixed in opinion. Not to be moved or persuaded by reason. So like I say, when you go to somebody and they already got a problem, they already got their mind made up. No matter what you say, or no matter how nice you was, or no matter how much you apologize, you can't persuade them to change their feelings. Alright? Inflexible as a stubborn son. A stubborn mind or soul. So somebody that has a stubborn mind or soul. But somebody that's fixed in their opinion. So when you take something to somebody, how they're going to cease from strife. Strife is about to come. How is this person going to cease from this strife? He on the way over there to you to bring this strife. They already got their mind made up on how they going to act and how they going to be and how they feel. So no matter how you approach it, no matter how many times you say, "I'm sorry, sister," or whatever, their mind is already made up. That's not how we're to be. You have to have an open mind. So yeah, if you have a problem with something or someone and you take it to them, you can't have a fixed opinion on the situation. If you take something to somebody, a problem or a quarrel, and once you get in front of that person, you have to have an open mind enough to where once that person starts saying, "Hey, I'm sorry, my fault, I didn't realize I hurt you in that way." Now you have to be able to say, "Okay, thank you. You talked to me," and now you got to be able to let it go. You can't have a fixed mind to where once you get in front of that person and they do everything they can to say, "Hey, I'm sorry, sister, I'm sorry, brother, my fault," and then you still leave out of there mad. "Well, you know what? I'm still upset because I already had my opinion on this, so I'm gonna just be this way. Yeah, you said you're sorry, but you know what? I still got a problem." That's not how we're to be. Matthew 18:20. You got to be able to let things go. You got to be able to forgive and forget. That's what it means when you say let things go and put it behind you, because you forgave the individual and now you forgot about it. Now it's in the past. All right? We have to be able to do such a thing. Matthew 8:20 says, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them." So it's talking about the spirit of Yeshua. When you have 2 or more people in one room, There goes the Spirit. The Spirit is coming. So that's why we need each other. That's why we need to fellowship. You can't do this on your own. Many people try to do this journey on their own self. Yeah, I'm going to study by myself. Yeah, I'm going to study by myself again tomorrow. And they just keep trying to do it on their own and don't realize the Spirit ain't sitting with you when you're trying to really do this on your own. You have to fellowship with your brothers. You have to fellowship with your sisters. Two or three gathered in one room brings in the true Spirit. All right, so that's why you have to learn how to work with the next person. That's why you have to learn how to work with your sisters and brothers. You can't have no quarrels among each other. You have to learn how to be one-minded. Proverbs 27:6. But so many people get into this word and they get so wrapped up into themselves to where they don't even realize that once you start trying to do this all on your own, the Spirit ain't even sitting there really. It's just you. You have to find a way to bring in the Spirit. And how do you bring in the Spirit? By fellowshipping with somebody else or at least 3 people. Okay? You have to find a way to become friends with people. Learn how to call somebody over and say, hey, let's get in the word tonight. Hey, you know what? Let's call sister such and such. Now it's 4 of us. Let's learn how to get in this word together tonight. You have to learn how to become friends with each other. Proverbs 27:6 says, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Let's skip down to verse 17. Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. So this is how we keep each other sharp. This is how we keep each other on our toes. All right, when we all come together, yeah, on your own, you can sharpen your own iron. You can get bright, smart in the word, but the Spirit is really not there. But when you come together as a people, iron sharpeneth iron. So a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. So when we all come together, we help keep each other smooth. We help keep each other on the same playing field. So if I don't know something and then I'm together with the brothers and I show it to them, they be like, man, you know what? I kind of knew that, but I didn't. Thank you for that precept. Now we just keep building our arsenal. Same with the women. Pull out your Apocrypha. And let's go to Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6, verse 5. Go to your Apocrypha and pull out Sirach 6 and 5 or Ecclesiasticus 6 and 5. So we said in verse 17 of Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. So you need a friend. You need friends in this word. That way they can help you stay on your toes. That's what give you your reproof. I'm a grown man. I'm 38 years old. How do I get my reproof? Through the spirit of Ahia. One of my friends, when they see me slipping and doing wrong, they will come sit me down and say, hey, brother, you know that was wrong in what you did. Hey, and that's where my reproof come from. People are like, well, where's your reproof? How you get reproof? That's my reproof. It's through my brothers. My brothers that's in this one spirit and this one mind, that's my reproof. When they see me doing wrong, they come sit me down and talk to me. And same here as the elder. When I see the brothers doing wrong, that's how they get their reproof. And then women, you get your reproof through your man. It's all under the same spirit. The reproof comes from the scriptures. So if you decide to go sit your brother down and tell him something that he's doing wrong, you give him the reproof through the scriptures, not through your heart, not through your mind. You sit him down and say, hey, brother, I was seeing some things. Hey, let me show you a few scriptures to help you get over that. Same thing with the men and your wives. Did you see your wife doing something wrong? You sit her down with the scriptures. All right, hold on. You sit her down with the scriptures and you show her what she's doing wrong through the reproof of the scriptures. Okay? Sirach 6 and 5 in the Apocrypha are Ecclesiasticus. And they read, sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. All right, Hold on for a second, you guys. All right, sorry about that. Sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. Be in peace with many, nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. So just because somebody come around and they say, hey, I'm your friend, don't be quick to bring this person in and give him all the credit in the world and be like, yeah, hey, man, brother such and such been coming around, man, he cool, man, he do this. No, make him prove himself. Make sure he's somebody that's on the same playing field as you. Make sure he's somebody that studies, that wants this just as much as you. Make sure his goal is salvation. Just because a brother comes around and he's cool and he likes to play PlayStation with you and y'all got things in common where y'all can talk about sports or something, doesn't make him a friend. Alright? Don't be quick to give him credit. Prove him first, or same with the sisters. Prove that person first. Make sure they are the same as you. They want to follow Ahia. They want to follow the words of Yeshaya. Verse 8. Sirach chapter 6 verse 8. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of trouble. So some people come around just be your friend for their own reason. You won't even know it. They treating you good. They acting nice. They there for you for their own reasons. And then in the end time, when it's time of trouble come and you need some help, where the friend at? Where he at? Hey, I gotta move this week, man. I gotta move this weekend. And you try to call people and friends, ain't nobody around. Like, where'd they go? The moment you say, hey, I gotta move, the first thing your friend should be like, hey, you need some help? How many hands you need? And if you say, yeah, I need your help, and you be like, hey, I need you to come over tomorrow morning at 10. They need to be there. Not tomorrow morning come at 10. You calling the homie, hey, where you at, man? I thought you was gonna come and help me. He ain't answering his phone. He ignoring you now. Dang, I was jammed up. I needed you today. But then 2 days later, hey man, let's get on some PlayStation or something. There they go. They around for their own occasions. Let's read it again. Verse 8. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of trouble. He won't be there when you need him. And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. Against some friend is the companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of affliction. So you got some people that'll be your companion at a table, but in the day of affliction, when you're going through some things, they're not around. When you really need somebody, you're going through some stuff, things have gotten hard. You might even need a little money for something. You might want to even go to a friend and say, hey, I need to borrow a little change, pocket change, to get by through next week. He ain't nowhere around. All right, but when you got money and you, hey, let's go to Corral. Treat is on me, man. That friend right there eating at the table. Hey, don't even got no questions to ask. But when it's your turn to turn around and ask for something, he's gone. Verse 11. But in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face. So like I say, when your time of low come, your friend now is against you. He will hide himself from thy face. He's nowhere around when you're brought low. But as long as you're high and you're bringing in those bonus checks and you're taking out everybody to the bar and buying drinks and everything, he right there. But when you're brought low, bonus checks ain't coming around. Now everybody calling like, hey man, let's go out. And you be like, hey, I can't go this week, man. I'm doing a little low on cash unless you got me. Oh, you know what? I'll call you back. Next thing you know, it's the next morning you found out everybody went out and they didn't call you back. That's how people get. Verse 13. Separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed of thy friends. So get away from the enemies and pay attention to who your friends is. All right. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such a one hath found a treasure. So a faithful friend is a strong defense. So somebody that's there for you, no matter what it is. Somebody that's there to talk to you. somebody that's there to pick you up, somebody that's there to even offer you some money. You don't even got to ask for it. You doing bad, this friend say, hey, you need a little help? You need something? Everything good? That's the person that you stick around. And the Bible says, for if you find somebody like that, you have found a treasure. Nothing to do with countervail a faithful friend. And his excellence is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life. And they that fear the Most High shall find him. So if you fear the Most High correctly, you will find true friends. If you're fearing the Most High in the right way, he will send the true friends around you. It says the true friend is the medicine of life. Why? When you're down and out and you're doing bad, your spirit gets sick. It gets sick and weak because you're going through some things. Now you got that true friend that can come and help give you the scriptures, can help pick you back up. And by the next morning, you be like, man, I needed that company last night. Thanks, man. I was doing pretty bad. Y'all came through. We chilled out. Man, I feel so much better. Verse 17. Whoso feareth the Most High shall direct his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. So whoever feareth the Most High, he will direct his friendship aright. He will not let the friendship get to the wrong matter. He will find a way to fix it. Things start getting a little bleak. Things start going a little wrong. Through the Spirit of the Most High, he will be able to go to the friend and say, hey, that wasn't right what we did the other day. Let's fix this so we can get back on the right path because I love you and you're my medicine. I need you in my life. So this is why we got to be able to open up to each other. This is why we got to be able to forgive each other, because you don't have many people out there that even want to be your friends, at least not for the right reasons. So when you find somebody that is there for you, treat them right and do them good. All right, John 15 and 12, because there ain't many treasures out there. There ain't many people out there that's going to truly have your back for the right reasons. Yeah, they'll have your back for their reasons. They'll have the back for their reasons, waiting for you to fall so they can pick up what you started, or so they can pick up, waiting on you to fall so they can pick up what's yours. That's not a true friend. A true friend ain't sitting there waiting on you to fall so they can pick up what's yours. A true friend, when they see you falling, they take whatever it is inside them to pick you up so you don't fall. A true friend don't ever want to see you do bad. So if you got somebody around you and you sense that they want to see you do bad, that's all bad. Okay? John 15 and 12. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love had no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend. So Yeshua says, this is my commandment. His commandment that he added to the commandments of Ahia. He said, this is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. That's my commandment. Okay? This is my commandment that I added. Greater love had no man than this. There is no greater love than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his power doeth. But I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. So Yeshua says, all the things that my Father taught me, I taught you. Okay? And he says, hey, yeah, you guys are my servants, because you remember the order, the pecking order of the Spirit? Okay? Yeshua is the servant to Ahia, and we are servants to Yeshua, which we're all servants to Ahia at the end of the day. But right here, Yeshua says, hey, if you do what I command you to do, I'm not even going to call you my servants. I'm going to call you my friend. Okay? So we're friends of Yeshua when we follow his command, which is love one another, and you put your life on the line for your friends. You put that friend first. You got friends, you put them first. You go hard in the paint for them. James 2 and 21, it's not about you. When you got other people involved and they're your friends, you put them first. Okay? Because Yeshua said that's what I did. That's what I did. And not only did I do that, I taught you every single thing that I've heard from my father. Everything he taught me, I made it known to you. So I taught you every single thing I know. I didn't hold back. I didn't try to keep the upper hand on you. Just because I knew a little more, I didn't try to keep the upper hand. No, I sat you down and I taught you everything that I know so we can all be what? One mind under one spirit. It's not about one person in the group knowing more than the next person or saying, oh, well, this person didn't know that. That's why I say you got all these groups on YouTube quarreling against each other, talking about, well, they didn't know that. They not teaching right. Well, dang, if you see your group not teaching right, contact them brothers and say, hey, can we all get on the phone together and learn this together so we can get on the same page? Not find a way to bring each other down and be like, well, they not teaching right, so we can't follow them. Well, you got groups talking about, well, we don't teach that. So if we don't teach that, you're not a part of this group. Well, man, let's find a way to sit down then so all of us can get on the same page. It's all about unity under the spirit of Ahia. James 2:21 reads, was not Abraham, our father, justified by works when he had offered Isaac his son upon the altar? Seest thou how faith wrought with his works, and brought works with was faith made perfect. So it says when Abraham was tried, when the angel told him to go sacrifice his son upon the altar, Abraham didn't ask no questions. He just got up the next morning and took Isaac and was about to go kill Isaac. And when Isaac realized it, Isaac said, Dad, where are we going? Because Isaac realized the trail that they was on, and every time they went on that trail, they usually had an animal for the sacrifice. So Isaac looked at Abraham and was like, Dad, what's going on here? We don't got no animal. But Abraham never asked any question. He never said, well, why you want me to kill my son? I ain't gonna do that. No. Spirit told him to go take his son up to the altar and sacrifice him, and he was to do it. All right? So therefore he was justified by his work, and by works was faith made perfect. Verse 23. James chapter 2 verse 23. And the scripture was fulfilled which said, Abraham believed Ahia, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness, and he was called the friend of the Most High. Ye see then how that by works a man is justified, and not by faith only. So many people think that as long as I have faith in the Most High, I'm going to be saved. No. You have to get out there and do the works. And once you get out there and do the works, then you're justified through your works. You also have to have faith. Yeah, you got to have faith, but you're justified through the works that you do in the flesh. That's what the preachers teach. The preachers teach when you go to church, oh, as long as you have faith and as long as you believe that he died on the cross for you, you'll be saved. No. You have to get out there and do the works. All these Christians that are in church, none of them go out throughout the week and do the work because they feel like, well, I go to church every Sunday and I have faith. That's all I got to do. No. We have to, throughout the week, once you learn these precepts, once you go to your Bible study, you learn the precepts, then your job is to go get on Facebook. Your job is to go to friends and family and show them what you learn and do the works. That's what you're justified by. You're judged by the works that you do. But verse 23 says, Abraham believed Ahia, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness. And he was called the friend of Ahia. Okay? So Abraham can be called the friend of Ahia. Guess what you can be called? If you do the works and you become righteous through the scriptures, now you can become a friend of Ahia also. So we don't just become friends with each other. We got to become friends with the Ahia first. And once you become friends with the Ahia, now when you find a friend down here in the spirit, in the body, now when the quarrel come up, you'll know how to deal with that friend. Why? Because you were friends with the Ahia first, and now he'll show you the guidance and the way on how to deal with that situation. That's the pecking order. That's how it works. All right, Romans 8:8. So like I said, so when we come together, we have to come together in the spirit first. All right? Get rid of the flesh. The flesh is nothing. Everybody, we got one thing we got to work on as a group, not as individuals. Yeah, you work on it your own, but we have to work together as a group to get rid of the flesh. All right? And like I say, and once we all do that, then that common goal, which is salvation. Remember we read earlier, said we all must have something in common. Okay? We all must have something in common. In Acts 4:32 says we all must have something in common. And that one thing we have in common is salvation. Romans 8:8 reads, so then they that are in the flesh cannot please Ahiah. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so be that the spirit of Ahiah dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the spirit of Yeshua, he is none of his. So if you don't have the spirit of Ahiah, you're not of Ahiah. You're not one of his. Let me read it again. Verse 8. Romans chapter 8, verse 8. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please Ahiah. So if you're in the flesh and you spending all your time in the flesh and you catch yourself in the flesh, every moment that you're in the flesh, you're not pleasing Ahiah. He's getting a little upset. And then let me say this to you. And if you're one of those people that continue to go in the flesh, so if you're in the flesh today, then you get over it. Then by Sunday, you back in the flesh again. Then you get over it. Then by Wednesday, you're in the flesh again. By Wednesday, Ahiah gonna be like, listen, I'm getting real teed off at you. It's point blank. So then, they that are in the flesh cannot please Ahiah, but ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so be that the spirit of Ahiah dwell in you. So say, hey, make a choice. Be so. Get out of the flesh and let Ahiah dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the spirit of Yeshua, he is none of his. And if Yeshua be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the spirit is life because of righteousness. So if Yeshua is in you, then you live through the spirit, which is not of the flesh, which is sin. See, the flesh, when you live in the flesh is sin. The flesh is already dead to the Most High. It's already gone. So if you're living in flesh and you're doing everything in the flesh, you might as well just go ahead and call Satan and say, what's the address to our place? Because you're going to the left. You might as well just call him now and get your address if you live in the flesh. You might want to find a way to get in the spirit, because the spirit is righteousness. That's what the Most High is going to judge you off of, is your spirit. Romans 12:1. He ain't going to judge you off of anything that you do in your flesh. He can care less about anything that you do in your flesh. Everything that you do in your flesh is considered sin. I don't care how good you think it is. You're in the flesh and you do something good, that's considered a sin. You need to be a spiritual individual, and that's what you're going to be judged off of. Romans 12:1 reads, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Ahiah, that ye present your bodies as living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Ahiah, which is your reasonable service. So your service here in this earth is to present your bodies as a living sacrifice. That's why the flesh is done. The body is dead. The flesh is dead because you've already presented it as a sacrifice. It's already been sacrificed. I'm going to sacrifice the flesh, which is the body, and I'm going to live in the spirit. And this is my reasonable service to the Most High. And be not conformed to this world. The world teaches you to live in the flesh and live through materialistic things. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Ahiah. So change, renew your mind. They taught you to live through materialistic things. I need these type of clothing. I need this type of car. Change from the conformation of the world, what they taught you to be. Renew your mind and become a different person. Wrap your head, women. Wear your long dresses, women. Get rid of the pants. The world has taught you to go get these extensions in the hair and put on the makeup and wear a short skirt and wear high heels. Renew your mind. Fellas, pick your pants up. Take the True Religion jeans off. Put some normal pants on. Put some fringes on. Put a mitri on. Take the ball cap off. Verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but verse 3. For I say, through the grace given unto me, that every man that is among you not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as Ahiah had dealt to every man the measure of faith. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office. So we have many members and we all have different offices, but we're all under one spirit. So that's why it says, hey, if there's any man among you, he is not to think highly of himself, but to be soberly, but to be meek. Nobody is to think highly of himself, to think he's better than what he truly is. But that's what we live in today's world. Today's world, you got so many people that walk around and pump themselves up. They got all this pride. They think they way better than what they truly are. All right. Let's break Romans 12 and 5. So we, being many, are one body in Yeshua, and every one members one of another. So all of our members, we're all one to another. We all help each other out in many different ways. Okay? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 12 and 4. We have about 15 minutes left. First Corinthians 12 and 4 says, now there is diversities of gift. There are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. Let's break down the word diversities. Diversities is G1243. G1243. And it's diaheresis. Diaheresis. And it's DIAIRESIS. And it means variety. So diversities means variety. Okay? And 12 and 4, 1 Corinthians reads, now there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. So many different gifts. Many people have many different varieties of gifts, but all under the same Spirit. Verse 5, and there are differences of administrations, but the same power. So different people have different jobs that they got to do. You are justified by the works that you do, not by faith. And there are differences of administrations, but the same power. And there are diversities of operations, variety of operations, so variety of jobs, the variety of works. That's what operations means. But it is the same power which worketh all in all. So just because we all have different works and different jobs and different offices, at the end of the day, it's the same Spirit and the same power. Verse 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 7 reads, but the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another diverse kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. Okay? So when we say tongues here, so a lot of people read this and they think, well, people speaking in tongues. No, that's not what it says. It says, and to another diverse kinds of tongues, different kinds of tongues. Let's break down the word tongues. Tongues is G1100. Tongues is G1100. And there's glossa. 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 And it means the tongue, by implication, a language. So different languages. Alright? To interpret different languages. And interpretation means translation. That's what interpretation means. Translation. So people will be able to translate different languages. When somebody is speaking in tongue in a church, who can translate what that person's saying? You can't translate nothing that individual's saying. So who's in churches teaching that you can speak in different tongues? And it's right to get up there and to speak in tongues to heal people. No. Right here it says speaking in different tongues means you can translate different languages. So that means when you go speak to Issachar and he's speaking Spanish, now you will be able to learn the Spanish language to translate to him what's being taught through the words of Yeshua. Okay? So it's saying when we're all under one spirit, we all have different gifts. Some will have the gift to prophesy. Some will have the spirit of knowledge. Some will have the spirit of healing. Some will have the spirits of working miracles. All right? Some will have the spirits to interpretate the language. All right? Verse 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 11. But all these worketh that one and the same self spirit. So it tells you, no matter what works you have, we all are the same self and the same spirit, dividing to every man several as he will. For as the body is one, and had many members, and all the members of that one body being many are one body, so also is the Messiah. Okay, so we're all the same body under the same spirit of the Messiah. But for by one spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles, whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one spirit. So once you get baptized, we are all considered one spirit, Jew, Gentile, bond, free, no matter what. Verse 14. For the body is not one member, but many. If the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body. So how's the foot going to say, well, hey, well, since I'm not the hand, I'm not part of this body? Impossible. The foot is part of the body, just like the hand. Is it therefore not of the body? Question mark. And if the ear shall say, because I am not the eye, I am not of the body. Is it therefore not of the body? So that's the same as the people. Just because one person is a Gentile, but if they hearken to this word and they come in, they are now part of this body. You can't say, well, hey, you a Gentile, so you're not a part of this. No. And that's what some camps are teaching. You got a lot of camps out there that teach, well, the Gentiles are not part of this body. Yes, they are. If they get baptized in the name of Ahia through the son Yeshua or Rawak, they are now part of this body. Stop teaching that the Gentiles are not important. They are important. They now have salvation open to them too. The only difference is they just won't receive the kingdom. But I don't think they care too much about that. I don't think Gentiles look too deep in, well, I don't get the kingdom, I don't want to be a part of it. No, hey, I got salvation. Hey, I'm good. That's the key here. So people need to stop teaching that the Gentiles are not part of the body. If they get baptized in the name of Ahia through the son Yeshua, through the spirit of Rawak, they are part of this body. Okay? Verse 15. If the foot shall say, because I am not the hand. Oh, we already read that, huh? Verse 17. If the whole body were an eye, were the hearing, if the whole were hearing, where were the smelling? Question mark. But now had Ahia set the members, every one of them, in the body, as it had pleased him. So Ahia put the hand where he wanted to put the hand. Ahia put the foot where he put the foot. So just like in our body, he put certain people in this group of this body of this group, and he put who he wants to put in certain spots. And he put certain people might be better secretaries in our group. Certain people might be better researchers. Certain people might be better. We all got our own part. And that's what we need to do with this group to become unity. Learn what you're good at and bring it to the group and say, this is what I can help the group with. This is how I can help the group grow. Don't be a sore eye to the group. No, you come and say, hey, these are my qualities. This is what the Most High helped me with. And I want to help the group grow by doing my part. And now once you start doing your part according to the body of the group, now you're doing your works. And now the Most High can look down and he will justify you all for what you're doing through this group. You guys, we are all one group. You get on this line, you are part of the Nazarite Without Walls. This is who we are. And in order to make this group grow, you have to find your niche with this group and say, how can I help? What can I do to make the group successful? That way when we do our holy days, it goes with a bang because everybody did their part. Just like I said earlier on the line, we are bringing Brother Bruns here on May 15th as a group. And when we start promoting this on Facebook, Brother Bruns is going to come here on May 15th to do concert for us. We're going to promote it as a group as Nazarite Without Walls. Not Elder Odd is bringing Brother Bruns here. No, Nazarite Without Walls is bringing Brother Bruns to Phoenix, Arizona on May 15th to perform. And before that time, I need everybody in this group to do their part to help this be successful. Call me and say, hey, brother, I can help on this end. I can help lock down a room. Hey, I can help with the food. I can help with this. Let's put together a snack bar. I need help. Find your niche. All right, verse 19. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 19. And if they were all one member, where were the body? But now are they many members, yet but one body. And the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee. Nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of thee. Nay, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary. We need you. The hand needs the foot needs the head, and the head needs the foot, just like the eyes needs the hands. We all need each other in this group of the Nazarite Without Walls. We have to bring the unity stronger and closer. And you have to understand that you're needed. When you go home tonight, you have to look in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? That group needs me. And they need me in this way, and this is what I'm going to start doing to provide my services to the group. Verse 23. And those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor. And our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness. For our comely parts have no need, but Ahiah had tempered the body together, having given more abundant honor to the part which lacked. So the parts, so you got certain parts of the body, yeah, they can't work on their own. If I cut the hand off and put it on its own, what is it going to do? It's nothing. But the Most High assembled the body together because he knew the hand couldn't work on its own. The hand had to be a part of the arm. Okay? The hand has to be on the arm in order for it to work. And then the arm can't pick nothing up unless it has the hand. All right, so having given more abundant honor to the part which lacked, that there should be no more, verse 25, that there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another. All right, let's break down schism. And it's G4978. G4978. And this schisma. Schisma. S-C-H-I-S-M-A. Schisma. And it means a split or gap. Division. There goes that word division again. Verse 25 says that there should be no schism, no division in the body, but that the members should have the same care for one for another. Verse 26. And where the one member suffer, all the members suffer with it. Or if one member be honored, all the members rejoice in it. So if one person in our group is suffering, we're all suffering. And if one person has a good day or something good happens and they tell the group and rejoice, we all rejoice. Just like tonight, if we get off the line and one of our members tell us some bad news, we all suffer through that bad news. Verse 27. Now ye are the body of Yeshua, and the members in particular. So we all feel each other's pain. If somebody get on here and share some bad news with us, you don't go home and be like, hey, you hear about sister such and such, you see what she's going through? Man, that sucks for her. No. That sucks for all of us. What do we got to do to pick this sister up? You must be able to forgive to make this work. So that's the only way we're going to make the body work. You got to be able to forgive one another. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 2 and 10. We got to be able to forgive one another in order to make all of this work. We can't have no quarrel, and we can't hold no grudges against each other, because once we hold grudges against each other, it brings the body down. 2 Corinthians 2 and 10 says, to whom ye forgive anything, I forgave also. I forgive also. For if I forgave anything to whom I forgave it, for your sakes forgave I it in the person of Yeshua. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So if it's hard for you to forgive somebody for something, that's you're working under the devices of Satan. If somebody do something to you, you're like, man, I'm going to hold this grudge. That's Satan. That's what that's just read. You must be able to forgive. Luke 17 and 3. So if somebody in the group does something to you, you can't hold on to it. You have to be able to forgive. Why? Because Yeshua forgave us. That's why he died for our sins, because he forgave us. Yeshua could have been like, Father, man, I don't care about them, man. You brought me down there as an example. Man, them dudes is stubborn. They stiff-necked. Man, I don't want to do nothing for them. But nah, he forgave us, even though we didn't do nothing to be forgiven. Yeshua seen all the bad that was going on, and he still forgave us. Even though we didn't do nothing right, he forgave us and died for our sins. Luke 17 and 3. Take heed to yourselves. If thy brother trespass against thee, rebuke him. And if he repent, forgive him. Rebuke means to reprove. That's what it says, to rebuke him. If thy brother trespass against thee, rebuke him. Rebuke means reprove him. Reprove him through the scripts. And if he repents off of your reproof, forgive the brother. Verse 4. And if he trespass against thee 7 times in one day, and 7 times in a day turn again thee, and saying, I repent, thou shalt forgive him. So if your brother does you wrong 7 times in one day, you turn to him and say, brother, I forgive you. You was just having a rough day there. Man, you did me wrong 7 times today. But you know what? Hey, I was able to talk to you, give you a little reproof through the scripts. You repent. You said you were sorry. I forgive you, brother. Luke 6 and 36. So it don't matter. You can't have a limit on what somebody can do to you. You know what, man? That's your 3rd time today you done did that to me. There's going to be some problems here if you do it again. No. Forgive your brother. He's having a rough day. Forgive your sister. Something's going on. Luke 6 and 36. Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. Merciful means compassionate. So be compassionate. Have compassion for the other person. Okay? Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. So don't judge nobody. If you don't want to be judged, don't judge somebody else. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Because if you get to judging somebody, a higher's looking right at you, trying to figure out, all right, it's time to judge you. You want to wait for judgment day. You don't want to start getting judged right now what you're doing in the flesh, because you're going to fail. You're going to fail in the highest eyes right now. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Condemn means don't pronounce someone guilty. That's what condemn means. To make somebody guilty. To pronounce someone guilty right now. You've already made a judgment on them. That's what condemn means. Alright, verse 38. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, and shaken together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that ye meet withal, it shall be measured to you again. So give. Don't have a problem with helping people out. Don't have a problem with taking care of somebody's bills. If somebody needs some help, don't have a problem with buying them some groceries. Because it says the same measure that you did for that individual should be measured to you again. Mark 11 and 25. So don't have a problem with helping somebody out. Don't be stingy. Don't be tight. Alright? Give to your brother. Give to your sister. And the same measure that you did to them, the Most High said, same measure shall come back to you. Mark 11 and 25 reads, And when ye stand pray, and when ye stand praying, forgive. If ye have aught against any, that your Father also which is in heaven may forgive you for your trespass. But if ye do not forgive, neither will your Father which is in heaven forgive your trespass. So if ye have aught against each other, or anybody, that your Father also which is in heaven may forgive you for your trespass, you must do the same thing. But if you can't forgive somebody, then the Father is not going to forgive you. Point blank. So if you holding on to a grudge that somebody did to you 3 weeks ago, 2 months ago, and you just can't forgive this person, I just can't get over this, I got a problem. Well, as long as you have that problem and you can't forgive that individual, and if you die within that sin, if you die within that problem, you die holding on to that grudge, now when your time comes before the Father, you're not going to be forgiven. The Father going to look at you and be like, you remember that grudge you held on to for years and years and years? You know what? I got a grudge now against you. Go ahead and go to the left. Last precepts of the night, Colossians 3:13. So we have to be able to forgive, and it's so important, you guys. But this is, through the forgiveness, this is what builds friendship. Okay? Colossians 3:13 reads, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Yeshua the Messiah forgave you, so also do ye. And above all these things put on charity, which is love, which is the bond of perfections. And let the peace of a higher rule in your hearts, to the which also ye are called in one body, and be ye thankful. So we are all in one body, and you have to let the peace rule through your heart. And as long as you have peace in your heart, you can forgive. But it says in verse 13, you must forgive because Yeshua forgave us. That's the whole reasoning why you must forgive. Okay? So once we start being able to have the peace in our heart, and once we start being able to forgive one another, now we build friends. Now we build that one mind and that one spirit through the body of Yeshua. And once we start doing that, now we build that unity. And once we all realize that we're important to the body, hey, I'm like the hand. The hand has to be on the arm. The eyes have to be on the head. We are all one part to where we have our own specialties to where we make the body work. And you have to truly understand your part so you can make the body work. And once you do that, now we come together in this unity thing to where now we're unstoppable. Now we're all one spirit. When we all can come together as one spirit, that is an unstoppable force for Satan. There's nothing Satan can do. But when you're trying to live on your own and live through your own spirit, you and your household, and then over here you're trying to live through your own spirit, now there's gaps. Now there's schism. And when you have the split in the gaps, now Satan, he can just run through the alleyways and just attack every house. I'm going to go down this alleyway because I see a gap. I'm going to attack this household. I'm going to go down this next alleyway and attack this. But if we all get rid of the alleyways and become one, now Satan can't penetrate us because we're all under one spirit. I hope that makes sense. So this week, you guys, through this lesson, go home, learn what your importance is to this group. Learn what your importance is to this body that we are building here, this unity. And once you learn what your importance is, come talk to me and say, hey, you know what, brother? I want to help with the group on this. This is my qualities and this is what I can do. And I'll say, okay, then let's get to it. Let's go. We already behind. We already behind. So with that in mind, we'll say all praises to the Most High, Ahaya. We'll pray it out. And then, of course, you know, we'll open it up for any questions or comments or any concerns. All right, so let's pray it out. Anybody want to pray us out?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Go ahead, brother.
Shema Yasha Allah Ahaya, Allah Ahaya Nawa, Ahaya Akar.
Hear, O Israel, Ahai Shah, Ahai is one.
Shema Yasha'Allah, Ahai, Allahai, Nama, Ahai, Akkad.
Hear, O Israel, Ahai Shah, Ahai is one. The Wada Ak.
Alright.
Since you already have your phone off on mute, I'll let you go first. You have any questions or anything?
Not really no question. More of something I wanted to. Yeah, kind of a question.
Okay.
And we got a couple of different things that people say to say you're welcome, and I actually hit Brother Bonds about this as well, because a lot of people say yonder bar, which I was saying as well, and welcome I couldn't find in the Strongs.
Right.
And he said the same thing. He said he couldn't find it, and he was gonna have to tell everybody, kind of, what was going on. But that was just something I had on the brain the last few days.
Okay. Maybe once we get off the line, I can call you and we can do a little research and just kind of trying to come up with that word you just found. That word you just said, and see where it was found at, and then try to come together under one accord on what that is.
All right.
Okay. Anything else, brother?
No, it was a good lesson. The water.
Okay. Is the sister with you, Sister Angel?
She just went upstairs.
Okay. Let's see. I'll just go down the line. We have a 623-329-6499. I don't recognize that number. Who is that?
It's Latanya.
Oh, okay. Latanya, how you doing? Long time no hear from.
Yeah.
Okay. You have anything you would like to share?
I just appreciated the lesson. I totally agree with the word of the Most High, especially when it comes to being a friend and a sister and a brother to one another and forgiving quickly, and making sure that there's not division among the body.
Okay, which is really so important. I'm glad you were able to get on, and hopefully for the future you'll be able to continue to get back on.
Yes.
Okay. 754-334-98. I know his number, but I can't recognize. 602-754-3498. Is that you, Brother Corey? Okay. 692-0928. Okay. 602-692-0928. Okay, brother James. Oh, who is that? Go ahead.
No, nothing to say. Thank you.
Who is that? Oh, it's Rachel?
Yes, it's me.
Okay, Sister Rachel, sorry about that. You be changing your numbers up on me too. I can't recognize y'all numbers. Sister Paige, Brother James.
Very much totally on point with the message. Hope everybody got it. Maybe everybody helps, but yeah, we're good on the questions.
All right, the water. Sister Erica. Okay, I know Sister Erica's at.
Okay, no problem, but I don't have anything, but the lesson was excellent to me.
Okay, the water, sister. All right, I believe this is Sister Brandy. Sister Brandy. Eight 842-0652.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Brother Jay.
Yeah, shalom, everyone. Yeah, I just want to all praises to the Most High, by Hashem Shia, and yeah, Elder, you on the double time. I see you doing the reading too. Man. It's just excellent lesson, man. I just know that with everything we got going on with our group and with our, you know what I mean, just with all the work and everything that's being put in, I just know it's going to bring the group close together. And the water to everyone, you know what I mean, that continue, you know what I mean, because it's an enduring thing. And we all have to keep enduring, you know what I mean, because Satan you touched on so many subjects and so many topics, and I hope everyone will get a chance to really listen. Because, this is, I'm looking at the news right now, even as I'm watching the lesson, man, we're in the end days. You know, we're all clear on that. So, again, Ed, man, just all praises, all praises.
The water, Ak, I appreciate that. Sister Netta?
Shalom, Elder. That was a great lesson. I just want to say it just gave me confirmation for the last 2 weeks that I have been counseling two sisters. So it just gave me confirmation that I was on point with the lesson that was done tonight.
Okay. I'm glad it can help. And we all, and that lets you know we're all under one spirit, because we can be going through something yesterday or today at work, and then we come under the spirit, and people be like, man, those precepts was right on what I was going through. And that just lets you know that the spirit it moves to help us in a way to where we need to get through this next week, you know. Okay, so I'm glad it helps you out in your ways, sister. Sister Netta's been on the line for the last couple of weeks. She's all the way in D.C. And I know it's late there in D.C. What's the time in D.C.?
It's 1:05, so when we start the lesson, it's at 11. So
Right. So
it's 1:05 right now.
So we appreciate that, sister, that you're way out in D.C. and it's 1 o'clock your time, and you're still on our line, and we really appreciate that. All praises to the Most High.
All praises to the Most High.
Right. Sister Tanesha? Okay. Sister Tanesha is all the way in Illinois herself. I don't know. She probably fell asleep. I know, but it's late for these guys. These ladies, I mean. These ladies are way on the East Coast. And they chime in on our line every Sabbath of the last few weeks. And we got to give all praises to the Most High for them to even just be on our line this late in the night hours. Okay? So, just to recap, like I said, you guys, we have Brother Bruns. He's coming here on May 15th. I'm looking for a spot that's big enough to where we can set up a stage to where he can do his music and bring a nice show in here for us, a nice spirit to where everybody can be a part of it and experience some of that. I know everybody know who Brother Bruns is, and I think that's going to be an excellent thing. I'm excited. He's super excited to have the offer made to him. He's like, you know, he's a real humble cat, and he's like, Ahmed, I didn't even know that many people was down there hip to me.